Shaptere izinji kamala mukarabo dynamite nyalungu. I call myself the leadership that led the leader to the leading lead. I am a very confident young woman. And I'm often asked, how do you do it? You know, you get into a space, you become unapologetically yourself, even at times where you are standing alone or you have a view of your own. You're not afraid to raise it up by yourself. You're not afraid to be the only member in your own team. You understand? And how do you do it? You know, how do you get into a space and unapologetically be yourself, but yet command respect, command attention? And for the longest time, I have falsely assumed that people have a standard level of self-love, you know, that everyone has, you know, and you either build on it or whatever, but there's that standard. But obviously, growing up, having to interact with people, you realize that I think Tembi is more beautiful than me, but she doesn't seem to be embracing that. You know, what is it about Tembi that makes her fail to see Hormara Tembi? How to cheap you in? You know, and you realize that we all have our own insecurities, you know. And I realize I am this confident, I am this unapologetic because when I was a teenager, I was also not approached. Yeah, I was not that girl. I was the one who was asked to give people space, you know, so that the gent could talk to them. And I realized as a teenager that could either make or break you. I chose for it to make me, you know, because at that point I had to be very honest with myself to say, okay, I don't seem to fit the then societal standards of beautiful, you know. What is gonna be my currency? Because I'm not gonna force myself to be beautiful. I'm not gonna force myself to be lighter and get on diet so that I fit and conform to societal norms of beauty. What is it that I can use as my currency? You understand? And that is not to say I am downplaying myself or I lacked self esteem or whatever. That is an honest conversation I've had to have with myself so that when I give compliments to beautiful girls, it becomes a genuine thing. I don't low key envy them. When I give compliments to beautiful girls, it's not me aspiring to be like them, but as me embracing someone else, having accepted myself and being content with myself. You understand? How do you give a compliment if you low key want to be in the position that the person is? You know, how do you give a compliment from a genuine place if low key you want to be in that position and you want to be that person? You understand? So I got to understand from a very young age that I know windscreen, we call the face windscreen in Mamelodi. And yeah, it was not, yeah, no, looks are not my currency. What's going to be my currency? And I focused on that and I locked it, and I'm here because of that, you know. And because I have accepted it and not forced myself to have beauty as my currency, I am now in points where I don't worry about how I look and whether am I beautiful enough or I look better than the next girl. You know, I'm at a point where when I see someone who's beautiful, I can vocalize it genuinely without having to low key feel some type of way, without having that I don't look good enough on that day. You understand? Because I understood that my currency is in another field. And because of that field, I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to thrive in it, you know. And that doesn't mean I'm going to neglect myself. I'm going to look up, I mean, clean up. I'm going to be neat. I'm going to be as presentable as I can be. But I'm not going to fight the battle of having to conform to societal norms of beauty. And the downside of that is that at that point my physique was not my currency. But you grow up and you realize how your body is what society deems to be the body, you know. You grow up, you have a flat stomach, you have got curves, you suddenly have a big booty, you know, and all of a sudden that is appreciated. There are people who were yellow bones at a certain time in life and they were not appreciated, they were outcasted, and then now yellow bones are trending. Now they are all of a sudden appreciated, you know. So beauty standards change. Don't conform to them. Find your currency. What is your currency? If it's not beauty, don't force it to be beauty, you know. A lot of people think I'm beautiful, and I don't think it has a lot to do with my looks. A lot of people have called me beautiful without having to see me or see my face. You understand? So there's a lot that makes me beautiful beyond my looks. I'm a very consistent listener of radio, and radio teaches you a different element of beauty, a different aspect of beauty. You know, there are people whom I've deemed very beautiful because I've got to hear how they think. I've got to hear how they articulate themselves, that when eventually I get to see how they look, their looks become the last thing, on my mind. There are people who are beautiful because of how they carry themselves. There are people who are beautiful because of how they behave in certain, environments, how they don't conform to norms. There are people who are just beautiful by how they are personally, their personalities, and it has nothing to do with looks. And the downfall about looks being your currency is that everyone can alter these days. We wear makeup, we've got filters. These days we do surgery. These days we crop these things. We do. There's a lot that can be altered when it comes to beauty, and I think that was my hey or aha moment when I realized at 16 that physical appearance was not my currency. That the thing that I'm going to deem as my currency is something that's very sustainable. So nothing can take that away from me. With beauty, anything can happen. You can get burnt, you can get anything that alters that. But my kind of currency is one that I can sustain, and no one can take it away from me. And I control how much of it, you know, how I control how it grows. I control how far it reaches. I control, the peaks that it goes to. You see, so don't force yourself to be conforming to societal norms because society deems um, people with beauty as their currency more important than others. And if you are beautiful, don't downplay the fact that you're beautiful because now Garabo is saying this. I'm talking because I encounter a lot of young girls who are insecure. I encounter a lot of young girls who do not fully embrace themselves, and I'm very honest with myself. I'm not the sexiest girl you can ever come across. I'm not the most beautiful girl you can ever come across. But there seems to be something about me, man, that I no maranjani, whether she doesn't have the best looks or whatever, but there's that thing, man. And that thing is what I'm trying to transfer to such girls who are insecure about their bodies, to such girls who see cellulite as the end of the world, who see acne as the end of the world. I've been there. I know how it feels, to think you are the thing, to feel very confident, but then your environment says, I know, you are what? You're not beautiful. You understand? And there's a book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving AF. And the person says, if you are beautiful, you wouldn't go to a mirror and constantly reiterate that you are beautiful, because that process is a process of convincing yourself or others that you are beautiful. You understand? So I'm not saying go to the mirror and say I'm not beautiful. I'm saying fully embrace yourself, clean up, look well, but be very aware of what your currency is. Once you are that away, you don't see people as threats. Once you are that away, you become unapologetically yourself. You understand? Because I'm not even afraid of being tomboy. I'm not even afraid of showing my tomboy side at any point, because I don't think it anyway alters what my currency is. I'm very aware of what my currency is, to a point where everything else does not matter. How I look does not matter. How I dress does not matter. How I present myself that does not matter. Because the only thing that matters at this point is what my currency is. If I know that in this field I can kill it, and I'm now thinking you're getting the point where it now goes beyond how you look, but also the industries you want to get into. There was a point where I wanted to do particularly sports broadcasting, and I tried so hard. I tried so hard because I think at that time it was, I don't know, pressures and whatever of the world. But I realized, nah, that is not my forte. That is not my, there's more. There's an area where I can be placed and I could kill it, and it would be so effortless. So why am I constantly pushing for me to excel in this industry? You understand? So be very honest with yourself. Be very honest with yourself with what is your currency, and then when you find it, lock yourself there, like lock your mind onto it and grow it, so that whenever you encounter the best of other industries, you're not threatened because you are the best in your industry. Whenever you encounter other people, you become very confident because you've worked on yourself, you've addressed your insecurities, you've embraced your uniqueness and your imperfections. And when you get to another girl, you are not intimidated. When you get to see a better version or better looking girl, because there'll always be someone who's curvier, lighter, brighter, and all those things, but you're not intimidated, or you don't think that takes away something from you. I remember in 2018, I got to a crowd and I said, the beauty of another girl is not the absence of mine. And now I think with this, you can now have a better perspective of what beauty is. There are people who think I'm beautiful, but they've never seen me. And that shows you something. Kamala Mukarabo Dynamite, Shapfiri, Izinch, Skajesati.